Hello aspirants, welcome to GS Mains Economy session. UPSC Mains syllabus mentions major cropping pattern in various part of the country, different types of irrigation and irrigation systems, storage, transport and marketing of agricultural produce, and issues and related constraints, as well as it also mentions e-technology in the aid of farmers. So this is what your syllabus mentions. So it is very necessary for you guys to repeat the syllabus, because that thing first should get inside your mind. So in this main session we are going to cover major cropping pattern in various part of the country. One of the important topic for mains, or you can say major crops and cropping pattern in various part of the country is very important topic for your mains, that is your GS Mains Economy, or you can expect around 2 to 3 mains question in an exam. So it will be around, you can say, 30 to 40 marks question. Now for your easy understanding, so as to cover this topic comprehensively, or I can say that you are able to answer any type of question from this topic, I have divided this topic, that is crop and cropping pattern, into 8 dimensions. Okay. So dimension 1 is meaning of cropping pattern and cropping system. So that this is the first dimension. Dimension 2 is significance of cropping system. Dimension 3 is factors affecting the cropping pattern. Dimension 4 is types of cropping system. Dimension 5 is categories of crops in India. Dimension 6 is cropping system in India. Dimension 7 is, that is, cropping pattern in India. So cropping system and cropping pattern both are different terms. So we will see in our first dimension. And dimension 8 is major agricultural regions or zones of India. So we will start with our first dimension, that is meaning of cropping pattern and cropping system. So first we will see what is cropping pattern. Then gradually we will shift to cropping system. So cropping pattern refers to the proportion of area, that is area under different crops at any given point of time in a unit area. So you can say it indicates the temporal or spatial arrangement of crops in a particular area. Now temporal arrangement basically refers to the yearly sequence of growing different crops on a piece of land. For example, if only one crop is grown on a particular land in a year, or that is, or you can say year after year, for example, rice in various floodplain, it is called monocropping. Okay, now what is spatial arrangement? So spatial arrangement, the word refers, it is related to space or land. That is arrangement of crop or crops on a piece of land in a various pattern. For example, if 2 crops are grown on a land in alternative row, it is called a row intercropping. So it is an example of spatial arrangement. Now there are different types of cropping patterns depending on the availability of various factor or resources, that we'll see later. Now we'll shift to cropping system. Now what do you mean by cropping system? Cropping system is a broader term than a cropping pattern and includes the sum total of all the crops and the practices used to grow those crops on a field or a farm. Okay, so it basically comprises of all components such as amount of water needed to grow the crop, soil needed to grow the crop, whatever technology required for a production of a particular crop. So all these are included. Or you can say it is an interrelationship between the various factors and the surrounding environment, means factors required to grow the crop. For example, in a simple cropping system, only one variety of crop is grown each year in the same field with regular fertilizers application to replenish the soil nutrient. So this is an example of simple cropping system. Now if you take an example of complex cropping system where we'll grow multiple crops like fruits, vegetables, tree crops, that is your plantation crops, grains, that is food grains, fodder crops, and livestock, that is animal husbandry, all are grown on a farm during a year with multiple harvest, that is different technology, and management of recycling of nutrients within the system. Okay, so this is an example of complex cropping system. Now while talking about cropping system, we tend to apply systems approach to the crops. Now what does system approach, that I'll tell you later. Hence, cropping pattern, if you see, includes crop rotation practiced by a majority of farmers in a given area or a locality. So basically cropping pattern focuses on area, that is area under crops, whereas cropping system includes cropping pattern and its management to derive benefit from a given resource base under specific environmental conditions. So basically cropping system focuses on crop grown in a year. It can be a simple cropping system like one crop grown throughout the year, or it can be a multiple cropping system like more than one crops or more variety of crops are grown on a given piece of land. So cropping system is basically focusing on crops. Okay, and your cropping pattern basically focuses on area under farming. Okay, so this is the major difference between cropping pattern and cropping system. Now we'll see the second dimension, that is significance of cropping system. As you have observed that all around the world different variations are adopted in agriculture, means different types or methods are adopted for farming, which have some common associated benefits. Now we'll see what are those common associated benefits of having different, or you can say, cropping pattern. First is, your cropping pattern will help to maintain and enhance soil fertility. Now how? For example, if you are growing different crops such as nitrogen fixing leguminous crops, which help in enhancing the nitrogen content of soil. Okay, also growing of perennial forages and millets help to enhance soil organic content. So in this way you increase the soil fertility. Now what is the next significance is, that is minimizing spread of disease. How? For example, it encourages biodiversity by providing a habitat for a variety of insects and soil organisms, and some of them may act as a predator for the certain disease, thus limiting the outbreak of disease. So more biodiversity, more are the chances that less disease spread will be there. Next significance will be that it inhibits pest and insects growth. For like, it reduces the homogeneity of farm. So if you grow one crop, it will result into homogeneity. So heterogeneity increases the barrier against biological dispersal of pest in the field. So if there is a pest, one crop is infected, the chances that another crop will not be infected. Next significance is control of weed. It reduces the likelihood that specific weed species will become adapted to the system and become problematic. For example, rotation of crops is the most effective means yet devised for keeping land free of weeds. So means if you have a rotation of crops, so chances that weeds spread will not be there. Next significance is use resources more effectively. multiple activities, if scientifically planned, lead to better usage of resources. For example, fodder crops can be used for livestock feed, animal dung can be used as organic manure, and dairy products help to enhance farmers' income. So if farmer is growing one crop, then there will be chances that resources are not utilized properly. So multiple crop can help to increase the crops, or you can say that resources effectively. Okay. Now next significance is reduce risk for crop failure. Now different crops have different response to the climate vagaries, or you can say the climate change, whatever we are witnessing right now. And every crop has a varied degree of susceptibility to disease attack. Now due to heterogeneity, means crop diversification, the risk of total crop failure is reduced. Next is improved food and financial security. This is the next significance. Now by reducing the risk of crop failure and diversifying the income opportunities for the farmers, scientifically designed cropping system improves food and financial security. So this is the significance of cropping system, or you can say cropping pattern. Okay, so already I told you what is the difference between cropping pattern and cropping system. So cropping system is a broad term which includes cropping pattern also. So please remember it. So we have covered two dimensions, that is meaning of cropping system and cropping pattern, and significance of cropping system. Now we'll move to next dimension, that is third dimension, factors affecting the cropping pattern. A very important dimension for your UPSC GS mains exam. Now the cropping pattern and the crop diversification in a particular geographical area depends on different categories of factors. Okay, so crop diversification basically here refers to the addition of new crops or cropping system to agricultural production on a particular farm, taking into account the different returns from the value added crops with complementary marketing opportunities. Like you are growing crop A, now you find that with crop A you grow crop B, it will give you some return. This is what crop diversification. Now all the factors vary in their impact on the crops under different circumstances and times. These factors have been differently classified by different researchers as well as organizations or institutions. For example, World Bank in 1990 has put forward a detailed list of factors under the broad categories of, that is three major categories, that is first is agronomics, economics and government policy. Now we'll see what agronomics basically include. So agronomic factor basically talks about, or it includes climate and soil type, that is of an area, availability of required inputs such as fertilizers, plant as well as seeds of high genetic quality, and abundance of labor. So this all include agronomic factors. Now economic factor includes transparency of input and output prices, information on export standards, market demand and relative profitability, as well as efficient marking system, that is value chain connecting from farm to consumer. Next is government policy, that is it includes efficient research and extension programs. So here we are talking about government schemes related to agriculture, contract farming opportunities, rural credit. So all these are your government policy factors. So if you see, all these three factors are interrelated and their relative importance changes over time. Now the Fourth important dimension is types of cropping system. So in this we will see various types of cropping systems like monocropping, multi-cropping, mixed cropping, intercropping, sequential cropping. So we'll start with monocropping. Now as the name suggests, monocropping, that is single, or you can say monoculture. It refers to growing of only one crop on a piece of land, that is year after year, that is in a particular year. It may be due to climatic and socio-economic conditions or due to specialization of a farmer in growing a particular crop. So these can be some of the factors why one crop is only grown. For example, groundnut or cotton or sorghum are grown year after year due to limitation of rainfall. Or you can take an example, for example, in canal irrigation, or you can say canal irrigated areas where there is a waterlogged condition, rice crop is grown as it is not possible to grow any other crop. Now next is multiple cropping. So again, if you see the multiple cropping or the word multiple, it is more than one. So it is a practice of growing two or more crops in the same field within a given year. So this is multiple cropping. Or you can say it is the intensification of cropping in time and space dimension. That is more number of crops within a year and more number of crops on the same piece of land in any given time period. So why there is a need for intensification of crops? So what is the basic need? First of all is that is your population, बढ़ती जनसंख्या, that is increase in population has put a pressure on land to increase productivity per unit area as well as per unit time and for unit resources used. Next is moreover for efficient use of available natural resources. That is why we need intensification of crops. So cropping system has to evolve with change in climate, soil and water availability. So we can say best use of resources. Next, cropping system should also provide enough food for the family, fodder for the cattle and generate sufficient cash income for domestic and cultivation expenses. So इसलिए भी we need cropping, that is intensification of crop, or you can say we should move toward multiple cropping. So if you see, multiple cropping includes mixed cropping, intercropping and sequence cropping. So which we are going to see now. We'll come to mixed cropping. That is a part of multiple cropping. So mixed cropping means that two or more crops grown in the same field within a given year without a definite row arrangement. Means you are growing two or more crops but there is no definite row arrangement. Now it is a common practice in most of dry land tracts of India. Seeds of different crops are mixed in certain proportion and are sown. So this is the technique they used to adopt. Like they mix the seeds and spread on the field. Now the objective is to meet the family requirement of cereals, pulses and vegetables. Example, sorghum, pearl millet and cowpea are mixed and broadcasted in rain-fed conditions. So this is what happening in mixed cropping. Now come to intercropping. It includes growing two or more crops simultaneously with definite row arrangement on the same field with an objective of higher productivity per unit area in addition to stability in the production. So here we have a mixed, or you can say definite row, which is missing in mixed cropping. So remember the difference between mixed cropping and intercropping. So intercropping was earlier practiced as an insurance against crop failure under poor rainfall condition. If done unscientifically, intercropping might lead to intercrop competition for available resources. So if you see, intercropping was earlier used to practice as an insurance against crop failure. Means if your crop get failed, or you can say one crop get failed, we have other crop to sell in the market. So this is one of the benefit of intercropping, or you can say one of the intention of having intercropping. Second reason why we practice intercropping, it is simple, that it will help you to protect from the pest attack. So this is the second reason. But as I mentioned, if it is done unscientifically, it will lead to competition of common available resources. Means crop A or crop B will compete for the same resources. So your crop, neither crop A will grow nor crop B will grow. So we have to see a right balance कि both the crop have different resource requirement at different time. Okay, for example, crop A need water in the month of April. So crop B must not need the same water in the month of April. It may need water in the month of June. Okay, so we have a balance of resources also. So this we have to consider it. Now we'll see some of the requirement for successful intercropping. Now the time of peak nutrient demand of component crop should not overlap. So which I have given you an example of water, need of the water. One need in the month of April, another need in the month of May or June. Competition for light should be minimum among the component crops. So this is a second requirement if you want to practice intercropping. The difference in maturity of component crops should be at least 30 days. Means if one is maturing at this time, other should be mature after 30 or more than that. Now what are the advantages of intercropping? First is it lead to better use of growth resources including light, nutrient and water. But it will happen only when you are doing it scientifically. Intercropping of compatible plants also encourages biodiversity by providing a habitat for a variety of insects and soil organism that would not be present in a single crop environment. This in turn can help, or you can say limit, outbreak of crop pest by increasing predator biodiversity. Along with suppression of weeds, it causes yield stability. Even if one crop fails due to unforeseen situation, another crop will yield and gives income. So I already told you that it acts as an insurance. Next advantage is successful intercropping gives higher equivalent yield as well as higher cropping intensity. So means productivity will be more with intercropping if done scientifically. Next advantage is it reduces pest and disease incidence and improves soil health and agroecological system. So the same point I explained you in significance of cropping system also. So we can say reducing the homogeneity of crop, increasing the barriers against biological dispersal of pest organisms through the crop. Next is sequence cropping or sequential cropping or crop rotation. So we have seen mixed cropping, intercropping. So now we'll come to sequence cropping. So sequence cropping is defined as growing of two or more crops in a sequence on a same piece of land in a farming year. The succeeding crop is planted after the preceding crop has been harvested. So means once the crop has been harvested, then second crop is grown. So this we used to call sequential cropping or crop rotation. Now crop variation is done with respect only to time. There is no intercrop competition. Its various types are, for example, type 1 is double cropping. So it means growing two crops on a same land in a year in a sequence. For example, first we'll grow rice. Once rice is harvested, then we'll grow cotton in a same year. So this is called double sequencing. Next is we have triple cropping sequencing also, like growing three crops on the same land in a year in a sequence. Example of triple cropping is like rice. Then again after cultivating rice, again we grow rice, and again after cultivating rice, then we have pulses. So this is called triple. Same way we have quadruple cropping also, or cropping sequence also. That is 4 crops in a year on a same piece of land. Now we'll come to next dimension, that is categories of crops in India. So crops can be categorized differently based on 2 conditions. First is on the basis of end usage, and second is on the basis of growing season. So first we will see that categorization based on end usage. So on the end usage we have category like food crops, cash crops, plantation crops, horticulture. So we'll start with food crops first. So food crops are those crops which are grown as a food for the producer's family or for the producer's own livestock. So we used to call that food crops. Example of food crops are wheat, rice, jowar, etc. Now the scale of operation is quite small so as to fulfill the basic needs of a family. So this is what we mentioned about this food crops. Now we'll come to cash crops. Cash crops are crops that are especially used for profit rather than consumption by a family. So they can be consumed directly or processed into other products such as sugar and biofuel. They consist of foods like tobacco, tea, coffee, cardamom, fruits, vegetables, grains, etc. So we have multiple examples of cash crops. They are sold, but some are not edible. For example, cotton and tobacco are example of non-edible cash crops. Remember that all food crops can be cash crops, but not all cash crops can be food crops. So remember this logic. Now food crops can be eaten by someone somewhere and so have a cash value. Food crops can be sold, which would make them cash crop as well. Now next we'll shift to plantation crop. A plantation, now what do you mean by plantation crop? A plantation is a large scale farm that specializes in cash crops. Means there will be a big farms in which we have a big plantations. Now the term plantation crops refer to those crops which are usually cultivated as a single crop on an extensive scale in a large contiguous area, owned and managed by an individual or a company. Now these plantation crops are high value commercial crops of greater economic importance. Okay, so remember the importance of plantation crops. So we have so many plantation crops. You also consume some products from the plantation crops like tea, coffee, rubber, cocoa, coconut, oil palm, cashew, cinchona, etc. So these are some of the plantation crops. Now next is horticulture crops. Now horticulture is the science and art of growing and caring for plants, especially flowers, fruits and vegetables. So again you are familiar with these terms, that is what are flowers, fruits and vegetables. Now the word horticulture comes from a Latin and means garden cultivation. Okay. Whereas agronomy, that is a branch of agriculture, refers to the growing of field crops. Horticulture refers to a small scale gardening. So don't get confused between agronomy and horticulture. Note that plantation and horticulture crops are a subset of food as well as cash crops. So we have seen a categorization based on end usage, that is food crop, cash crops, horticulture and plantation crop. Now we'll see categorization based on season. So there are 3 distinct crop seasons, namely Kharif, Rabi and Zaid, which you have read in your geography also. So Kharif season largely coincide with southwest monsoon and corresponds to the rainy season. Now the major crops cultivated during Kharif season in northern states are rice, cotton, bajra, maize, jowar, tur, whereas in southern states are rice, maize, ragi, jowar and groundnut. So remember these crops also once UPSC has asked in prelims also. Now Rabi season begins with the onset of winter, that is in the month of October, November and ends in March and April. Now the low temperature condition during this season facilitates the cultivation of temperate and subtropical crops such as wheat, gram and mustard. Major crops cultivated during Rabi season in northern states are wheat, gram, rapeseeds and mustards as well as barley, whereas in southern states are rice, maize, ragi, groundnut and your jowar. Whereas Zaid season, if you see Zaid cropping season, it is of very short duration, that is summer cropping season begins after harvesting of Rabi crops and sowing of the Kharif crops. So it means harvest of Rabi crops and sowing of Kharif crops. The time period available in between that is your Zaid season. Now the cultivation of watermelons, cucumbers, vegetables and fodder crops during this season is done on an irrigated land. However, you will notice that this type of distinction in the cropping season does not exist in southern part of the country. I hope you know why. Why the temperature is high enough to grow tropical crops during any period, in any period of the year, provided the soil moisture is available. Therefore, in this region, that is in southern region, same crops can be grown thrice in an agriculture year, provided there is a sufficient soil moisture.